Thanks for tuning in, guys, and good morning. So today we're going to do something a little bit different on the channel. We are going to install a French drain. All right, so what is a French drain? Well, let me show up this diagram right here and we'll talk about it a little bit. So what is a French drain? Well, it's actually an entire system based around a corrugated, perforated, or drilled out pipe. And what it allows to do is the water table, as it rises during a rainstorm, all the water actually pours in from the bottom into the pipe, draining the water away from your home or wherever you're trying to drain it. And typically you want to bury these pipes about 18 inches down at a minimum, and then make sure it's on a downslope, so kind of heading down a hill. For us, we have a system where we need to go and run down a hill about 80 feet. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and dig the hole, put a pipe in the ground, surround the pipe with some rocks, all right? Just kind of some basic rocks. You don't wanna have too small, like pebbles or anything like that can get into the holes. And then you're gonna wrap it in a fabric, all right? And we'll talk about what you need here in a second. And then you're gonna bury it, and that is that. So let's go ahead and talk about what you need to knock this project out. You ready to knock this out today?
Yeah.
We got this? We got this. Let's do it. So first thing we'll need to do, of course, is, like I said, dig this hole. We already started last night, actually. Today is Saturday morning. This job is probably going to take a good day or so, but I wanted to start to kind of line everything up to kind of see how far we have to go. And you can see you have to go all the way down to the bottom of that hill and under the fence. And the good thing is it's already on a downslope, so as long as we dig a hole about 18 inches deep, which is that right about there currently, then we should be good to go all the way down. So you'll need a variety of shovels. You can probably get away with just that kind of shovel right there, just basic $15, $20 shovel. But I also went ahead and picked up a couple other shovels. We had some already, of course. You will need a box like this here, and what this is designed for is it actually goes under the gutter. The reason being is this is called a water catch basin. All right, so you can see that there are holes on both sides here, and it is a nice kind of cover on here, almost like a drainage cover. And what it does is it actually goes and collects all the water coming out of the actual gutter into this water basin. One side is plugged off, the other one has the pipe running out of it down the hill, and this is going to catch a bunch of water and stop debris from coming down the gutter, like leaves and things like that, and stop it up here. And if it doesn't stop it here, it will stop it, because it's heavier than water typically, right? It'll stop it in the bottom of that basin there. So we'll install that, we'll show that to you guys. This wrapped up wrapped up material right here is actually a 3-foot by 300 non-woven geotextile fabric. All right, so 3 foot wide by 300 feet long. Obviously overkill for this 90-foot job, but this is a much better option. You can get them right off Amazon for around 70 bucks, and it's a lot cheaper than your local hardware store. And same thing with this box here. This box, the thing, is on Amazon for like 38 bucks or something. I'll put all the links down below for all this material for the most part. All right, so you definitely need that. You will need some safety glasses or sunglasses, as well as a tape measure. So you can see you have your perforated pipe here. We picked up a 100-foot strand of it. It's a 4-inch corrugated perforated pipe. You can see all the slits in there all the way around. So as the water table rises, or potentially if groundwater comes down on a heavy rainfall, this will help. All right, and we picked up 10 bags of this rock right here. It's pretty much, doesn't really matter what kind of rock you are using. I mean, obviously this isn't going to be drinking water or anything like that, but try to find whatever you can that's affordable. These are 10 bags right here. We'll see if we need more, but the rocks, of course, as you saw in that diagram, are going to wrap around this pipe. You're going to wrap it up with fabric, kind of like making a burrito or a sushi roll or something. But 100 foot, but of course we are only going to need about 80, potentially 90 feet, depending on where I spit this out underneath the fence. So you'll also need some help. You're going to help, right? Yeah. No, you will probably need some help. If you do it yourself, this could take a couple of days. I'm gonna get a couple of folks over here to see if they can help dig, because digging is gonna be by far the most laborious part of this actual project. And we're gonna take you guys along for the ride. So it's not too bad. I think we can probably do it in a day, maybe a day and a half. So let's get to it. I should probably mention, for some reason he likes doing this. Right? Like what? Like terrific trucks?
Yeah.
Just like his show, Terrific Trucks.
What are you doing? That's yours.
A good, look at that, Colton.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
We good?
Mhm.
I don't know, that's about a foot. We got a few more inches to go, huh?
Yeah.
So you'll see the wife helps skim off a few inches, and we're putting that topsoil right there. That's gonna help kind of get this all patched in nicely back when we get the dirt back on. However, it's not quite wide enough to where we want it because we need about 8 inches down and at least maybe a foot wide. So as you can see, I'm slowly going down, widening it, chopping up the dirt, and that just seems to be easier. I can chop it up with this shovel, and then with a squared off shovel, get in there, scoop it out. And once you go and launch one of these shovels into that dirt, you're already a little over a foot down anyways. So you can see it's not that bad. The soil's pretty soft. I also went ahead and spray painted. You can see where the spray paint was on the topsoil here where the grass was. Spray painted a line all the way down there, so that way I know where we are. So it's always super fun to find a fiber optic cable running through your backyard that shouldn't have been there. So I'm assuming the surveyors who just surveyed this property a few months back missed it, or it could be defunct and not live right now. But either way, rather than divert this whole trench, because it only runs about 5 feet down until cutting back into the center of the yard that way, we're just going to dig underneath it because there's a lot of slack there and bury it a little bit and then lay the French drain on top. Shouldn't be a problem. All right, so we actually reached a point where we're about a little over halfway, and really that first part we're trying to be kind of careful, trying to save that topsoil so we can put the grass back on, try to give it the best chance throughout the summer or rest of spring and summer to grow back in nice and flush. But what I want to do here, which makes this job so much easier if you're already going to plan on putting new sod down or something, we're going to go ahead and mulch this area, and kind of, this is another project we're working on. This is just like the first step, is digging this drain. I'll show you a much quicker way to dig these. You can dig out almost 3 inches at a time and just go straight down the line. And you're almost at the depth you need to be if you really don't care about the grass being kind of saved on top. But you see how easy that is, and then you can go ahead and follow up as you go. Dig it a little bit deeper, a little bit wider if you need to. So quick status update, we are done with the first maybe 10 feet of the project, as you can see here. And after that first 10 feet, we do have most of it dug out. It's just a matter of kind of digging it as deep as we need. She's definitely plenty wide. She's looking really good. Just needs a little more depth to her. And if you look over here where we stopped, which is just about 10 feet short of where we're ending, we did run into an issue of having a lot of broken up rock and roots kind of just messing up with our digging part of this. So I'm trying to get this dug out as best we can so that it'll finish going this way and then going out of the fenced in area. Alright guys, so we're almost done here. So we dug it as deep as it needs to be, almost to this point down here. But then we ran into an issue which I already described to you earlier. We have this root system, right, which is from this tree, that tree, and this fig tree. Now this fig tree is actually something we're thinking about mulching anyways, and kind of doing some landscaping this whole area. This area was a natural runoff for a long time. So what we want to do is we're going to dig this out, throw as much of the root system as we can, but there's also a bunch of rocks and kind of just sediment that has just built up over the years. But we're thinking about hitting this root right here where it significantly drops off, and then we kind of did a change of plan. Rather than running this whole system with the French drain out, we're going to run the French drain to here, and then have it pop out right here for the downspout. Then take this pipe, and we have a couple more of these lying around, hook it in. This is a solid 4-inch corrugated pipe. Hook it in, run it on top of the soil, and then dig a little hole under the actual fence so it's not dumping right into the fence. Dump it about 2 feet beyond the fence. And then we're going to actually do another project, which I don't know if we'll film or not, but we're going to landscape this whole area, make it really nice. We're probably going to start leveling it off a little bit, maybe make a little bit of a little kind of retaining wall kind of thing right here, just because it kind of drops off pretty steep. And honestly, I just hate mowing this area anyways, so fig trees, if you don't know, wasps, spiders, they all just love like munching on them when they do kind of blossom, so I really hate mowing around these and getting attacked by all sorts of insects. So I wanted to kind of landscape this area anyways. So this is a 9-inch catch basin made by NDS. It's a 9x9. All right, so what I did was plugged the one side like this, and this is how they're built, where the hose attachments goes on the outside, or the pipe attachments go on the outside like this. There's one with a plug on it, kind of keep it lined up with the gutter. I already measured it the other day. Gutter kind of spits out right in this area. So it's almost perfect. All right, you want the top level with the ground. You want to fill some rocks at the bottom, like I did. Go ahead, pat them down. If you have one of these little tampers here, they work really great. Pat it down, get it level, make it level, add rocks if you need to. Make this nice and level. That way your pipe gets it nice and flush. All right, so now that the hole is done, trench is ready to go. We have our nice fabric right here. And how this is gonna work is basically you're going to roll it all the way down there. And I'll show you, it's probably easy just to roll it on top like this. All right, and you're gonna line the hole, okay? It's good if you have some stakes here. We have a few people on site, so we can probably hold it as we go, but as you kind of have it staked down, it's gonna go pretty much lining the actual hole. Then we're gonna go talk about how you put the rocks in. So we're gonna line the hole first, cut it where it needs to be, and we'll come back for the rocks. All right, so we got our fabric in the trench here. I tucked it underneath the rain catch basin here just a little bit. And what we're gonna do is start lining the bottom with a little bit of these white rocks. All right, and you can see you're just gonna do a nice little layer all the way down. So let's get that done. I'm actually gonna put a bead of silicone around this corrugated pipe when we put it in there, just kind of help with a nice seal. And also you can get this corrugated pipe tape, which will be just nice to have. Just kind of an extra protection there to keep this nice and attached inside your water basin. So we'll do that. Then we'll start filling in the rocks around this. We have a nice base layer all the way down, but we'll use the rest of our rocks to fill it in. And we'll wrap this up like a little burrito and then throw the dirt on it, call it a day. All right, so we actually ended up doing is, if you open this up here, you'll see that you have the rocks on the bottom, and then we're putting some around the sides here. So what I'm doing is I'm actually filling some dirt on the sides as we go, just because you might have a wider trench than you need to, but you want to be able to have the rocks on all sides of that pipe. So if you narrow that up a little bit, you can use less rocks and have it nice and surrounded as it should be. So I'll put a little bit around the sides, and we'll get the rocks and tuck them in. All right, so now that you have that dirt on the outsides there, you'll see you can get the rocks to surround it much easier and waste less rocks and still be good to go. So we're just gonna keep on going down, filling up there a little bit more, and just finish this up. All right, so we're at the end, like we talked about, and all you have to do really is find out where you want to stop it so that we can put the other hose connected in here, or if you were going to do a drain or something like that to kind of finish this downspout off. So what we're going to do is just take a little hacksaw right here. Let's see if we can get a good leverage here. As you can see, it's not too bad. These things cut pretty easy. There you go. So now we're cut, put the other piece on there, get it nice and taped up, and it'll be good to go. All patched up. So one of the things we are going to try to do is we skimmed off the top some of that original grass there, and we're just going to kind of puzzle it back together on the top. No promises it's going to work, but it should help get the grass to kind of catch on and grow back where it was all missing. Some parts aren't going to have the greatest luck. I think some of the holes are a little bit wider than we wanted to kind of originally have, but we'll try to put some grass in. And this stuff, I mean, a lot of it's not even like real grass, really just a bunch of random stuff, so should grow in just fine. It usually grows in real quick within a couple of months, and it's early spring right now, so shouldn't have any problem growing in, but this will help. Just trying to make sure, get it level best you can, tamp it down a little bit, step on it, add some dirt if you want to lift it up, you should be good to go. Alright guys, I think I'm happy with how this turned out, and we're at a stopping point for right now. And I want to say it took about, let's see, a little bit on a Friday night, about 7 hours off and on, half the time playing with the kid for the most part on Saturday, and about 4 hours on a Sunday. So, I mean, if you take into consideration we had 3 people working off and on this. If you do it yourself, expect to take the entire weekend. If you do it just with a few people, you can probably do it in a day. If you really kind of hunker down, knock it out. Digging is the hardest part. Let me walk you through the actual trench, how it looks now, maybe some pointers and some tips if I was going to do it again, and then we'll wrap this video up. Let's go over this drain right here. Went in really nice. Honestly, I'm really liking how it turned out. What I'm actually thinking about doing is taking that one of the flat bladed shovels and edging out maybe 2 inches around, maybe like a 2 by 2 inch area all the way around, and then filling it with a white rock just for aesthetics before it starts growing in with the grass. I think it'll look really nice. Maybe even raise it up just a hair just so that it's a little bit easier to trim with the weed whacker or when you're mowing. That's gonna look really nice. Overall, digging, like I said, took a pretty long time. That was the most effort, honestly. I learned a few things along the way. When you're skimming some of the grass, you know, you can put it back as well as you can, but it's just not going to fit perfectly. So you'll see we filled in certain spots with some extra dirt, and the grass will go in just fine. If you have nice sod, which is, this is not nice sod, obviously, it's just kind of like natural growth. If you do have nice sod, make sure you skim the exact portion and take your time, because that way you can put it maybe on the left side, then put all your dirt you dig out on the right side, and then you have an exact place. All right, but make sure you measure it out. Take your time if you really care about it. We didn't care that much just because this is just natural growth. So pointer there, if you want to keep it nice and just replace the grass on top and skim off the surface, you can put her down really nice. Just take your time. Walking down here, you'll see this is going to grow in really nice. I went ahead and scraped with a shovel all this dirt to kind of shake up the grass, so that grass will kind of pop up through kind of that mud there. We're about to get some storms over the next couple of days, but I think we'll see it, kind of get a good test on how this runs, but also it should flatten this out a little bit more. Right now it's pretty level all the way around. I've been just kind of using that skim shovel, skimming off the top. Again, pretty happy how this turned out. Starting about here is kind of where we kind of didn't really skim off the top too much, because down here, the unfinished portion for the most part, I don't know what I want to do for the landscaping yet. I want to landscape this tree and this tree. So I'm thinking about landscaping it around all the way up here. So it might actually cover up that pipe right there. So I haven't really dug this out much, and I dumped a lot of spare dirt, more than you need over here. So I dumped all of our spare dirt right here and kind of half buried this pipe. And that pipe is now going out to a nice recycled, reusable little downspout there. So I reused this from an old pipe system that was already at the house, and one of these little concrete runoffs at an angle pointed down with that little spout going just over the top. I think it's gonna work awesome. It's gonna look good, flow really well. So if we need to, and we decide to like stop the landscaping, we do it right there, kind of slope up, then what we'll do is I'll dig this out and bury it. And then all you'll see is this part down here. And one thing I will say underneath all of this right here, one thing I did do, and you saw how I poured the rocks around that pipe. We only have about 2 or 3 maybe layers of rocks around all the pipes, so it's not like a thick layer. So if you want and save some time, you can maybe dig a smaller hole and then use the amount of rocks that I just used. Or if you want to really do a proper French drain, the more rocks the better. The more rocks you can kind of put between the pipe, that perforated pipe, and the fabric is the way to go. So you'll see in a lot of different ways, a lot of people go and put like a whole thick layer of rocks around the entire pipe, and that's why you dig such a wide hole. I tried to save some money. I could have bought 30, 40 bags of rocks if I wanted to, but that would make this project more expensive. So something to think about. You can buy more rocks. There's no real kind of negative part about that. The more rocks the better, as long as that fabric can reach around it, because remember the fabric is a 300 by 3 foot fabric. So I'm sure you guys are gonna ask, well, how much does this really cost? Because I'm doing it myself. We're cutting out the labor for the most part, although getting labor from your family and stuff maybe costs like some pizza and some beer or something. But overall, I'm cutting almost all that labor out. Do it yourself. This whole project with all materials cost $227.14. That's right, under $300, under $250. I mean, we're not quite done yet because I kind of wanted to include the price, probably another $100 to landscape this with all the mulch and everything we're gonna need. Probably honestly more, who knows, but depends on how we want it to look. But you can see you can save some really good money if you do it yourself. So just another DIY project that actually worked pretty well. So any of the stuff we used, some of it was from Amazon, some was from Lowe's and Home Depot. I'll put all the links down below. The build list is down below with some links if I can find them. Go ahead, check them out down in the description below. If you guys have any questions at all about this project or any kind of helpful tips, because I'm thinking about doing something similar with the front yard, which is also honestly worse because it really needs a French drain up there. There's a spot where the sun never hits for about 10 feet by 3 feet wide. It's just dirt and nothing ever grows there. So I'm thinking about doing some kind of drainage there because it really pools up about 3 inches of water when it does rain in pretty much any amount. If you guys have any tips at all, hit them in the comments below. If you have any questions at all, hit them in the comments below as well. As always, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you in the next review.